All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Connecticut Employees Withholding Tax webinar presented by the State of Connecticut Department of Revenue Services. My name is Richard Carter, and thank you for joining us on this dreary Thursday morning. So today we have 5 speakers lined up. First up will be Melissa Pescatelli. She's going to provide some quick updates about our agency. Then Catherine Zandri and Chris Chamorro will burrow and nestle inside the withholding tax. And then Randy Harris-Broussard will join us to demo our new online portal, My Connect. Kelly McLaughlin will provide a quick tour of the Taxpayer Education Center, and plus, we will have your questions as well, and we will get to that all very shortly. But first, I just want to highlight a few things before we get going. So, seeing as we are providing an overview of the withholding tax, we recommend, if you haven't done so already, is downloading the DRS publication, which is the Employer's Tax Guide Circular CT. Now, the tax guide is a great resource for Connecticut withholding, as it's chock full of information such as a withholding calendar of duties, there's FAQs in there, there's electronic filing info, and much more. Now, it's available on our website, and it can be downloaded as a PDF. So, what you'd want to do is go out to our website, which is located at portal.ct.gov/DRS. And then once you're there, along the left side panel, you're going to want to click for businesses. Yep, there we go. And then after that, we're looking for publications, and then we should be able to find the Circular CT Employer's Tax Guide. The other thing, if you're struggling to find it, or maybe the website's acting up, you could certainly put it into the search, or if you just Google it, the Google machine should fire it up for you as well. Now, we're also going to be providing a demo of our new online system, My Connect. Now, the benefit of My Connect is that it makes submitting returns and payments far more simpler and more efficient than our previous system, and it also offers additional self-service options 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, as a quick aside, even though there is the convenience of My Connect, you can still file a paper return if you'd like to do so. Okay, so you're going to notice that your mics are muted, but we certainly want to hear from you. So how we're going to do it is during each segment, if you happen to have a question related to the topic being discussed, just type it into the chat. And when that section ends, we'll go about answering the questions. Now, we are limited in time, so we're going to try and answer them all. And what we may end up doing, and it's happened in the past, is we would say do the withholding section, and we would go through some of the questions and then get on to the other matters in the webinar and then come back to it. So there's always that possibility that we are going to do that as well. Also keep in mind is that the answers are intended as guidance and not directives. Also, if you happen to have an issue before the department, meaning, maybe you submitted documents on another tax matter, or you want to know the status of a personal income tax refund, this is not going to be the venue for that because we really can't get into personal tax matters in a public forum like this. So instead, what you'd want to do is you can call us at 860-297-5962. You can also call us at 1-800-382 9463. Our email address is drs@ct.gov, or if you are familiar with My Connect, you can zap us a message through My Connect, and we will go about getting back to you in any of those particular formats. Alrighty then, so we got all the initial stuff out of the way, so let's just start getting into this. Our first presenter is Melissa Pescatelli. Melissa is the Tax Division Chief of our Taxpayer Services Division, and then she's just going to share some brief information about our agency. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Mr. Carter. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Good morning, everyone. I am Melissa Pescatelli, the Taxpayer Services Division Chief. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Department of Revenue Services W-2 and 1099 filing webinar to help you prepare for the upcoming filing season. We are pleased to bring you this event today, which will provide you with important state tax information that will help you succeed in filing withholding tax returns on behalf of your employees. We have some very knowledgeable team members today who will provide you with an overview of many of the withholding tax filing requirements. Their presentation will explain how to determine if you are considered an employer for withholding tax purposes. It will help you set up an account on the DRS online filing platform called MyConnect. It will let you know how to file withholding tax returns, finding important information on the DRS website, and so much more. This webinar is designed to guide and help you understand the withholding tax filing and paying requirements so that you will not miss any due dates and meet all of your filing obligations. The department and every one of our employees are here to help you. We want each and every one of you to succeed in meeting your tax filing obligations. Having a good handle on your state withholding filing requirements is critical to your success as a Connecticut employer. Now, there are some very exciting things happening here at DRS. We have recently modernized our tax administration system, making it easier than ever before for you to do business with us. Governor Lamont has charged all state agencies to streamline processes and become more digital by offering electronic systems and self-service options. MyConnect, the department's safe and secure online platform, will allow you to file tax returns, make tax payments, and manage your state tax account 24/7, anytime, day or night. The feedback we have received from existing employers has been overwhelmingly positive, and we are confident that all of you will find MyConnect easy and convenient to use as well. Beyond that, should you have any questions or issues that arise as a result of today's presentation, please do not hesitate to contact us. We have a great team of experienced professionals in our Taxpayer Service Center who are ready to have a confidential discussion with you about your specific facts and circumstances related to withholding for your employees. You can reach our Taxpayer Services staff at 860-297-5962 or at 1-800-382-9463. You can also email your questions to drs@ct.gov. Again, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you to today's presentation. And remember that the staff at the department stand ready to help and will be an important resource for your success. Now, Mr. Carter, it's back over to you.
Rick, you're muted.
There we go. There we go. I'm unmuted. If someone fixed my dummy sign, it's a little crooked. So, as I was saying, we've cleared the tower. Wheels are up. So now let's bring in Catherine Zandri and Chris Chimura. They are revenue examiners in the Taxpayer Service Contact Center, and they are going to now present information about W-2s, withholding, 1099s, and all that. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Catherine. The moment has arrived. Floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar this morning. Many of you may be returning for a refresher on this informational return filing that occurs by the end of January every year. And many of you may be new businesses, and you may be asking yourself, am I an employer for Connecticut withholding purposes? Well, yes, you are if you have employees to whom you pay Connecticut wages, whether or not you are required to withhold Connecticut income tax, and therefore you must be registered with DRS. If you do not have employees to whom you pay Connecticut wages, you are not required to register with the DRS for Connecticut withholding tax. To register for withholding in any or all applicable taxes, please visit our website at portal.ct.gov/DRS. Click the MyConnect File, Pay, and Register Taxes online link. Locate the Businesses panel and click the New Business Need a Connecticut Tax Registration Number link to begin the registration process. Special rules apply to payers of non-payroll amounts and payers of compensation to professional athletes and entertainers. Registered businesses issuing 1099-R, 1099-K, and W-2G forms with DRS will file all required returns electronically through MyConnect by logging onto their MyConnect account. Those businesses not registered with DRS who are issuing forms 1099 miscellaneous or 1099 NEC and the associated CT 1096 forms can file returns through the unauthenticated link from the File 1099s panel on the home page of MyConnect. Let's talk about wage withholding. As one category, all employer withholding forms in any amount due must be filed and paid electronically through MyConnect. Penalties and interest for late filings or non-compliance with electronic filing is 10% penalty of the amount of tax due, plus a 1% per month interest charge. Now, there may also be a non-compliance penalty assessed at 10% of the tax due in addition to the late filing penalty, and can be assessed even if the return and payment was received on time. So if you're required to file electronically and you do not comply with that requirement, you may also be assessed a non-compliance penalty. Now you're going to file your CT 941s quarterly. Now on this slide, please note that the due dates, April 30th is the due date. That's 30 days past the end of the filing period. The quarter is January through March, and the due date, March 31st being the end of the quarter, and April 30th is your due date. DRS allows 30 days past the end of the filing period for you to file your returns. However, we strongly recommend that you not wait until the very last day to file. You can start filing right away. As soon as the quarter ends, please start filing your returns, but we do allow you up to 30 days. For the second quarter that covers April, May, and June, you have until July 31st to file the return. Third quarter covers July, August, and September, due October 31st. And the fourth quarter, of course, that ends December 31st, you have until January 31st to file. The CT 941 is used to reconcile quarterly Connecticut income tax withholding for employee wages only. Employers who are registered for Connecticut income tax withholding are required to file Form CT 941 for each calendar quarter, even if no tax is due or no tax was required to be withheld. Form CTW3 is the annual reconciliation of the 4 quarterly 941s. The due date is January 31st. Form CTW3 will be completed as part of the electronic filing process when you upload the state copies of the federal Form W2. Paper filing is still permitted for 24 or fewer W2s. Employers must file Federal Form W2 reporting Connecticut wages with Form CTW3, even if no Connecticut income tax was withheld. Now the topic will be non-wage withholding. All non-wage withholding forms similar to the withholding forms and any amount due must be filed and paid electronically also. And for non-payroll withholding, you would use Form CT 945. Annual reconciliation of withholding for non-payroll amounts. The due date is also January 31st. And Form CT 945 is used to reconcile annual Connecticut income tax withholding from non-payroll amounts only. Payers of non-payroll amounts who are registered for Connecticut income tax withholding are required to file the CT 945 even if no tax is due, tax was not required to be withheld, or Federal Form 945 is not required to be filed. Next, we'll talk about household employer. Household employers are not required to withhold Connecticut income tax from the wages of a household employee, but may voluntarily do so. Both parties, however, must be in agreement, both the employee and the employer, in order to withhold Connecticut withholding from the household employee's wages. If the household employer withholds Connecticut income tax, they must register with DRS for withholding by completing the registration process via MyConnect. Chris, would you like to take it from here?
Sure, thank you. Good morning. Let's talk about the household employer filing requirements. Now, Form CTW3 HHE which is the Connecticut Annual Reconciliation of Withholding for Household Employers, is due January 31st. Now, this return is used by household employers only. Now, all household employers, whether registered or unregistered, must file Federal Form W-2 with Form CT-W-3 HHE, even if Connecticut income tax was not withheld. Now, household employers who are registered with the DRS should file their Form CT-W-3 HHE electronically. Now, household employers not registered with DRS file a paper form CT-W-3 HHE along with the paper federal forms W-2 reporting Connecticut wages paid. You simply enter the words household employer in the space reserved for the Connecticut tax registration number on the return. And just remember, there is no electronic filing option available for household employers that are not registered with the DRS. Now, there also is Form CT 941 HHE, which is the Connecticut Reconciliation of Withholding for Employer or Household Employers. And now this is due on April 15th. So household employers registered to withhold Connecticut income tax from their household employees must file one Form CT 941 HHE for the entire calendar year, even if no tax is due. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about athletes and entertainers. Form CT 945 AT-HEN, which is the Connecticut Annual Reconciliation of Withholding for non-payroll amounts. Now, this is also due on January 31st, and this return is used by designated withholding agents of athletes and entertainers only. So probably for people who performed at the Bushnell or Hartford stage. So Form CT 1096 AT-HEN, the Connecticut Annual Summary and Transmittal of Information Returns. Now this is also due on January 31st. So following the end of the calendar year, the designated withholding agent must file with DRS a completed Form CT 1096 AT-HEN along with copy 1 of each federal Form 1099 miss reporting Connecticut income tax withholding information that can be found in boxes 16 and 18. And this again is due on or before January 31st. So we'll talk a little bit about non-payroll information returns. DRS requires every state copy of the following: Federal Form 1099-R, reporting distributions paid to Connecticut resident individuals, even if there is no income tax withheld, and for all other recipients, only if Connecticut income tax was withheld. Now, this Federal Form 1099 miss, payments made to a Connecticut resident, even if no Connecticut income tax was withheld, and payments to a non-resident of Connecticut if the payments relate to services that were performed wholly or partially in Connecticut. Again, even if no Connecticut income tax was withheld. Now then there's Federal Form 1099 NEC, which is reporting non-employee compensation for payments made to resident individuals or to non-resident individuals if the payments relate to services performed, again, wholly or partly in Connecticut, even if no Connecticut income tax was withheld. Federal Form 1099-K, reporting payments to payees located or with locations in Connecticut. And then there's Federal Form W-2G, which is for either Connecticut lottery winnings paid to resident and non-resident individuals, even if no Connecticut income tax was withheld, or other gambling winnings paid to Connecticut resident individuals, even if no Connecticut income tax was withheld. We'll talk a little bit about the filing requirements. First, when to file. Well, Forms 1099-R, Miscellaneous, NEC, W2G, and Form CT 1096, which is the Connecticut Annual Summary and Transmittal of Information Returns, are all due on January 31st. Now, Form 1099-K is due no later than 30 days after such forms are filed with the IRS. Now, Form CT 1096 will be completed as part of the electronic filing process when you upload the state copy of Federal Forms 1099-R, 1099-MIS, NEC, K, and W2G. Now, if a due date falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday, the return will be considered timely if filed by the next business day. But remember, you can still use MyConnect 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get your returns ready. Now, records pertaining to Connecticut information returns must be retained for at least 4 years after the due date of the return. Some more electronic filing requirements. If you file 25 or more forms of 1099-R, Miscellaneous, NEC, 1099-K, or W2G, you are required to file electronically unless you have been previously granted a waiver from this requirement. But if you file 24 or fewer forms of 1099-R, Miscellaneous, NEC, 1099-K, or the W2G, you are encouraged to file electronically, but may file paper forms without requesting a waiver. Now, here's an important thing. DRS requires one filing for each Connecticut tax registration number. Therefore, if your company has multiple locations or payroll systems using the same Connecticut tax registration number, you must combine the files to complete your electronic filing with MyConnect. And DRS has no application or authorization procedure and does not assign submitter control codes for Forms 1099 or W2G electronic filing. Catherine, would you like to take it from here?
Sure, thanks, Chris. You know, we hear the 1099 NEC, 1099 miscellaneous. Everything used to be reported that was non-employee compensation used to be reported on the 1099 miscellaneous. And I think it was 2020 that the 1099 NEC came into existence. So that's why you see that the two listed now separately. So the 1099 miscellaneous is used for rents, healthcare payments, etc. And the 1099 NEC is for any compensation paid that is for a non-employee. Also maybe for prizes, commissions, etc. So now if you need an electronic filing, you need a waiver extension to file, for time to file, excuse me. You must request an extension of time to file by filling out a form, completing Form CT 8809, a request for time to file informational returns. You must mail it to DRS on or before January 31st. Form CT 8809 cannot be filed electronically. If you needed a waiver from filing electronically, DRS may waive the electronic reporting requirement only if the payer is unable to file electronically due to a documented hardship. To request a waiver, you would have had to complete CT 8508 and mail it to DRS on or before January 1st, because Form CT 8508, similar to the 8809, cannot be filed electronically. If a waiver is granted, your informational returns must be submitted to DRS and CD, compact disc form. See Form CT 4804, Transmittal of Information Returns Reported on Compact Disc, for further information. The penalty for a late filing is $50, and a penalty of $5 per form up to a total of $2,000 per calendar year is imposed on payers who fail to file Federal Forms 1099-R, Miscellaneous, NEC-K, or W-2G with DRS. Failure to file the state copy of Federal Form 1099-K with Connecticut will result in a civil penalty of $50 for the first month for each 1099-K that you are required to file but fail to do so, plus $50 for each month or fraction thereof for which each failure continues. The total amount of penalty imposed will not exceed $250,000 per year. The above penalties listed may also be imposed on payers who are required to file electronically if they file using any other media without first obtaining a waiver. We receive a lot of phone calls at this time of the year regarding corrected returns. I filed my form. I think I'm good. Oh, I found I had an error or erroneous information contained in the report. What do? Do I file them and upload them all over again? No, and we're going to guide you on how to correct that problem. An amended return is a return submitted by the transmitter to correct returns that were previously submitted and successfully processed by Connecticut DRS, however, contained errors. For information returns filed through MyConnect, amended filings can only be performed through using the business or third-party bulk filer login. Do not send the entire original file again. Send only the corrected forms 1099 and W2G that were erroneous or had erroneous information. All correction files must be transmitted in a new file. Make sure that the corrected file has the resub indicator, that's field position 6 on the payee B record. Forms 1099 and W2G omitted from the original file must not be coded as corrections. Submit these returns under a new payee B record as original returns. After a successful upload of the corrected information returns, you will be taken to Form CT 1096, Connecticut Annual Summary and Transmittal of Informational Returns as it was originally submitted. Make the necessary corrections to Form CT 1096, review, verify, and submit. You will receive a new confirmation number. Now, the filing methods, there are two filing methods for MyConnect to submit your information returns through MyConnect. Business employer login, filing through MyConnect, or filing through MyConnect as a third-party bulk filer. Information return filers can electronically file their CT 1096 Annual Connecticut Summary and Transmittal of Information Returns and the associated 1099-R, MIS, NEC-K, and W2G records through MyConnect. DRS MyConnect is fast, easy, free, and safe way to conduct business with DRS. To file your 1099 and W2 information and the corresponding CT 1096 forms using MyConnect, go to MyConnect. Log into your MyConnect account and choose one of the filing options listed on the next slide that Chris will review with you.
Thank you. Okay, there are two options to submit your 1099s and W2Gs. The first is the key and send, which are manually entered. And then there's the bulk file, which is a file upload. Now, the bulk file can be done in two different formats. There's the 1220 FIRE standardized file format, or the predefined comma separated value file format. Now, you choose the option that best applies to you and follow the steps that will be demonstrated live later in the presentation. Now, important, Remember, your Forms 1099 and W-2G are not successfully transmitted until MyConnect issues a confirmation number for Form CT 1096. And you can visit our portal under electronic filing to view a sample layout. So we're going to talk a little bit about the electronic employer bulk filing. First, the 1220 FHIR standardized file format. Now, this option allows you to upload a file that is formatted with the standardized file layout, the 1220. Now, once uploaded, the file will be reviewed for errors in real time. Now, if the file is accepted, you will receive a confirmation number for your records. But if the file fails, you will receive a list of the failed records with an explanation. So you simply correct the file and resubmit. And don't worry, there is no limit on the number of upload attempts. Now for the predefined comma separated value, or CSV file layout, you will arrange the columns in the correct order and verify the layout matches the predefined comma separated value layout before uploading the file through MyConnect. And just as with the 1220 FHIR, once the file is uploaded, the file will be reviewed for errors in real time. And again, if the file is accepted, you will receive a confirmation number for your records. But if the file fails, you will also receive a list of failed records with an explanation. Then you correct your file and resubmit. And again, there is no limit on the number of upload attempts. Now, third-party bulk filers are taxpayers, such as CPAs and accountants, who prepare returns for multiple employers or for multiple locations of the same employer. Now, bulk filers for 1099 or W-2G in MyConnect have two filing options. You can do a single client upload or a multi-client upload. Now, step one is that you upload your Forms 1099 or W-2G. Now, step two, you upload Form CT 1096, and this would be you to complete the CT 1096, 1099 upload process. And again, you can visit our portal, and we have more information for the detailed bulk filing. Now, we're going to discuss if you use an agent. Say you use OneSource Tax. Payers using a service to electronically file or transmit information are responsible for the accuracy and timeliness of their information returns. So if a transmitter fails to meet the electronic filing requirements, it is the payer who is liable for any penalties imposed by the DRS. So you just got to keep an eye on it. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about the combined federal state filing program. Now, Connecticut participates in the Connecticut federal state filing program. However, you must also file Forms 1099-R, miscellaneous, NEC that have Connecticut withholding, and you must file all Forms 1099-K directly with DRS through MyConnect, even if you participate in the combined federal state filing program, because the only forms filed through the combined federal state filing program that will satisfy DRS requirements are the Forms 1099-R, miscellaneous, and NEC with no Connecticut withholding. Now, the due date for each taxable year, it's January 31st. Now, for file corrections, any corrections to 1099-R, miscellaneous, NEC, or 1099-K files using the federal state combined filing program should be replaced by uploading the correct forms. So don't send everything, just replace the correct forms. Okay, we'll just gonna briefly go over frequently asked questions. So are there any technical changes in the specifications for the 2023 taxable year? And there are none, so no. Are DRS electronic filing specifications the same as federal specifications? Well, for Connecticut, there is no K records, the state totals requirement. If it is included, it will just be ignored. The Connecticut registration number, if any, though, is required. And fields that are not required by DRS are indicated by NA, and you just simply enter blanks. Okay, what paper form should accompany the electronic filing? The simple answer is none. Payers should not submit paper copies of any electronically filed forms. If there are any attachments that cannot be electronically filed, please keep this information with your records to be provided to DRS only upon request. Now, is there a penalty for failure to file federal form 1099-K? Yes. Failure to file the state copy of the federal form 1099-K will result in a civil penalty of $50 for the first month for each 1099-K that you are required and failed to file, plus $50 for each month or fraction thereof for which such failure continues. The total amount of penalty imposed will not exceed $250,000 per year. So just make sure you file those 1099-Ks. Okay. Will failure to file information returns electronically result in the assessment of penalties? Yes, because payers who are required to file electronically will be treated as having failed to file if they file paper forms in lieu of electronic filing, unless DRS has already granted a waiver. Now, how does a payer report changes to an electronically filed submission? Well, good news, DRS now accepts corrected and supplemental filings to be filed electronically through MyConnect. Corrected and supplemental filings can only be done using the third-party bulk filer login. So if using the file import option will result in rejection codes for duplicate filings. Okay, how can a payer submit data when there is a requirement for the data to be protected? Well, electronic filing of information returns through MyConnect is a fast, free, easy, and secure way to conduct business with the DRS. The connection created using a filer session with MyConnect encrypts all information sent from the filer until the information is delivered to DRS, thus keeping data secure while in transport. So you ask, how does a form CT 1096 get filed? Well, it will be automatically populated for you by MyConnect once forms 1099 and W2G have been successfully uploaded. You must verify all the figures and then complete the quarterly breakouts. Third-party bulk filers, once all forms 1099 or W2G are successfully uploaded, which was step 1, then you will need to upload the form CT 1096, step 2, to complete the CT 1096 1099 upload process. Do we have any questions? Send it back to Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, we have plenty of questions. In fact, thank you for all the questions. What we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these. We're not going to get to all of these in this segment. And then what we'll do is we'll go to Randy and Kelly and then come back to the questions we weren't able to get to, but certainly keep asking them if you've got them, because that's what we're here for. So we're going to try to get through as many as we can today. So the first one that came in here, I guess I could take this one a little bit. It says, I represent a New York State 501c3 charity. We need to file one 1099 NEC in Connecticut with no withholding. We want to fill it out and mail it in, as we don't have the documentation required to use the MyConnect site. What is the mailing address? So our mailing address is Department of Revenue Services, State of Connecticut. The P.O. box you want is 2930. That's 2930. That's in Hartford, Connecticut, 06104. Again, P.O. box 2930, Hartford, 06104, 2930. And if you have any issues regarding the filing of the NEC, what you probably should do is contact our Taxpayer Service Center on that one. On the audio issues, if they're still having audio issues, the only thing I can think of is maybe checking the audio settings in your profile, and then get into the devices and make sure you've got the right microphone and speaker. Perhaps that's it. I don't know. Okay. Oh, the other question too is, I know it's come up a few times, is will this be available? Yes, it will. I would say check back to our site in probably 7 to 10 days for a recording. Okay, so here we go. So Catherine and Chris, first up that we have is a partner who receives a guaranteed payment rather than wages, required to file under CT 945.
Thanks, Rhett. And general guarantee payments are not subject to the payroll requirements.
All right, and we're off. Next up, how do you file wages on the portal if you have no wages paid for the quarter?
Well, you can still file your return and just report 0 if you have no wages for the quarter.
All right. What are the specific differences with examples of employees and or services in the 1099 forms? How do I know which to file?
Well, I would suggest that you check the federal guidelines on which forms should be issued under which circumstances.
All right, for our athletes and entertainers, are you saying we need to include a copy of their 1099 NEC to Connecticut?
Yes, if there were services performed wholly or partly in Connecticut.
All right, next up, we already have an active DRS account. However, I do not see where the process is for the 1099 NEC to upload. Are we required to only utilize the forms on DRS?
Well, when Randy Hariprasad, our next speaker, is going to give us a hands-on tutorial demonstration on how to file the returns, and you're going to see there how to file the NECs, 1099 NEC.
Okay, I don't know if I got that question exactly right because it's cut off for me. All right, next up, for 1099, if you filed with the IRS and have no tax withholdings, are you still required to file with Connecticut? It is my understanding that Connecticut participates combined federal state filing.
Yes, we do participate in, as Chris, my colleague, went over the combined federal and state program. If you have 1099s that were issued to Connecticut residents, yes, we need those even if no withholding was reported or withheld. If they're non-residents and there's no withholding, you do not have to report those to us, no.
All right, very good. Next up, do we need to file both a 1096 and 1099K?
Yes, each 1099 grouping requires its own CT 1096 be filed with it.
All right, Very good. Next up, if I have less than 100 1099 NECs, can I bulk file?
Sure, I don't see why not. Absolutely.
There we go. Let's see. Does Connecticut DRS only require 1099s for individuals and not non-employee entities such as LLCs, etc.?
Usually 1099 NECs are not issued to S corps or C corps. That I believe that's what they're asking. I'm not sure.
Okay.
If they
If
need
there's more
anything else
to it,
by
I
that.
think they'll hopefully throw
Yeah.
it into the chat if there's more in there. Next up, I noticed on the 2022 publication that Connecticut participates in combined federal state filing program. Does that mean I need to file a 1099 miss a 1099 NEC with Connecticut if my business does not have any withholding?
Yes, Chris's slide showed that the forms that file through the combined federal and state program that will satisfy DRS are the 1099R miscellaneous NEC with no Connecticut withholding.
All righty. Next up, where can I locate the CSV template for 1099s?
That's coming up as a demonstration in the next part of this webinar. So if they can just hold off, they're going to see exactly where they can find it.
Fantastic. We'll get to that very shortly. All right, here's one. Howdy all. Well, howdy back. Thanks for joining us. I use a professional employer organization for my small business, ADP to be specific. Do I need to also report W-2 withholdings in my DRS account, or is their filing sufficient? Looks like they're having trouble getting an answer from their rep.
Ultimately, the responsibility lies with the taxpayer or the business. However, what they need to do is we don't want duplicate files. So you want to make sure you're going to have to keep reaching out to your payroll provider to make sure that they're filing because we don't want duplicated files.
All right. Let's see. How do we set up to do combined CFSF?
I believe that's going to be covered with Randy Harperstop
Randy,
in the next part. Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I thought I'd ask it anyway.
Yeah,
Keep you
yeah.
on your toes over there. All right. Do you have to file a 1099-G form with the state?
No, not a 1099-G. No.
What if you are a 1099 payer and you do withholding taxes for a subcontractor who has requested you to withhold taxes for them?
Okay. I'm not sure I understand the question, why they wouldn't file with us if they've been, if they're in a relationship where they're going to file the returns for the subcontractor. Is that what I'm understanding? They're asking us whether or not they should be filing because they're also paying the subcontractor? I'm not sure of the question.
Maybe we
I
can,
apologize.
they can put a little bit more in the
Yeah,
chat
maybe they
for
can.
you. Let's see. I'll get a couple more here. Can 1099s and 1096s be submitted e-file federally in addition to for Connecticut via MyConnect?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll read it verbatim here. Can 1099s and 1096s be submitted? And there's an asterisk, e-file federally in addition to for Connecticut via MyConnect.
You're only going to be filing with Connecticut with through MyConnect. If you're in the combined Fed state program, I think Randy's going to be able to answer that a little bit.
Right.
That's a little bit
Very
out of
good.
my area. I think Randy will know the mechanics of it. I'm sorry.
Well, speaking of Randy, let's do this last one. And then what we'll do, folks, is we'll go to Randy. He's going to be on about 20 minutes or so. It could swing either way, a little bit more, a little bit less. Kelly's presentations for about 2. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and start gobbling up the rest of these questions that we have here. So the last one we have for right now is, does a 1099 miscellaneous need to be filed for fully insured health insurance plan payments?
The 1099 miscellaneous is for the healthcare medical payments. That would be the form that you would file to report those payments. But again, check the federal guidelines, because whatever's required there, we follow federal guidelines.
All right, very good, Catherine and Chris. Thank you for now. Have a seat, get some water. We'll get to you guys in a few minutes, because now what we're going to do is we'll bring Randy in so he can talk about MyConnect. I don't think ever in the history of anything has anyone had such a buildup as Randy here, because we keep saying, oh, we're going to ask Randy, we're going to ask Randy. It's like Orson Welles and the third man here, for Pete's sakes. Okay, so anyway, Randy's a principal examiner in our electronic filing unit, and he's going to introduce you to the online world of MyConnect. And like I said, after Randy, if you have questions for him, we will answer those as well. Then Kelly will come in. She's got about a 2 to 3 minute presentation, and then we'll come back to some of these issues that we haven't been able to get to yet. So with that, without further ado, Randy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Randy Hariprasad, and I work here at Connecticut Revenue Services in electronic filing and all about MyConnect. And today I will show you how easy it is to get into MyConnect and how to either key in your W-2s or 1099s or upload them and get it done with a confirmation at ease. You don't have to worry about mailing them in, and it takes a long time in the mail, and everything can be done electronically, and I'll show you the steps. So we'll start out by showing you how to get to MyConnect first. So there are a couple, different ways to get into MyConnect. The first one would be you can simply type in the portal.ct.gov/DRS. That's the URL, and that will bring you into MyConnect. That will bring you into the CTDRS page. Sorry, excuse me. All right, so and then there's another way to get to MyConnect. You can simply go to Google, just type into the Google search, just type in CTDRS MyConnect, and that will bring up the hyperlink right up for you. Just click into it and get into MyConnect. On the DRS homepage, you will see under the most popular, we have a link here that says MyConnect File, Pay, and Register Taxes Online. If you click into that link, that will bring you to our MyConnect homepage. And as you can see on my screen, this is the MyConnect homepage. But before we get into the username, password, and logging into MyConnect, I wanted to show you some other features that MyConnect has to offer, such as if you're brand new, you need to register. The link new business need a CT registration number. This is the link, or if you have a bill payment or you want to file some extension payments, look for your refunds, like what's my 1099G among. We have some additional resource here, very useful for you as well. Earlier, there was a question, where do I find the 1099s and W-2 template? Under additional resource, there is a link here that says third-party bulk filer information. If you drill into this link, this will take you to our DRS page, which is our landing page, DRS landing page for bulk filers. And if you scroll all the way down, you will see all the different templates available here for you. We have the example file, the file layout, the spreadsheets, and all the different layouts here for your use. So we can make it easy to assist you on filing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and return back over to my MyConnect page. For the 1099 miscellaneous and the 1099 non-employee compensation, that's one of those are the two forms that you do not need to create a username or password to file those, or you do not need to register. You don't with Connecticut. You can simply use the federal ID information, and we provide a panel here for you. And there's two links: one that says File 1099 NEC, and one says File 1099 Miscellaneous. So you can file those using on the MyConnect homepage right on here. You do not need to log in to do so. And I'll explain a little bit more, because this same panel you will see when you log in as well into MyConnect. We'll see this panel under the More tab, where you can use that to file your non-employee compensation and your 1099 miscellaneous. If you don't have a username, you will have to create a username for the first time, and this is where you simply click on the create username. But you know, many of you in here today probably already know how to create a username. It's very simple. You just click next, and then you choose business user, or if you're a bulk filer and you create a username, and you will have a username and password to log into MyConnect. So I'm going to step out of here and click cancel, and I'm going to return back to the MyConnect homepage. If you have a username and password and you forget your username and password, you can self-service yourself by clicking forget username and password. We designed the system to make it so easy for you. You do not need to call us for resetting your password or your username. Once you click on forget username or password, for example, username, you will simply enter the email address that you set up the account, and we will send you a username in your email inbox. And the same for the password. You will enter the username. We will send you a temporary password. At that time, you will be able to enter your own password. Okay, so I created a username and password already. So I'm going to simply enter my username. And I'm going to go ahead and enter my password and click login. All right, so now I am logged into MyConnect. This is how MyConnect looks like. The first screen that you will come to is the summary screen. Upper left corner, you will see, it says Randy 1099 and W2. It's my company name, my CT reg, my address here, and upper right, it will say welcome Randy Tess. I'm on the summary screen. Before we get into the W2 and 1099, I do wanted to show you some different tabs that we do have in MyConnect, which is very useful. So for example, if you you missed the deadline for your W2 or 1099, we will send you in the Action Center. We will tell you that your return is overdue, or you have unlettered letters, or you have a return coming up so you can file. So the Action Center is very important that you take a look. All correspondence is done in the Action Center. I also wanted to point out the More tab. The More tab here, you can go back and look for any submission that you submitted prior, or you can manage names and returns. You can even update your name and addresses if they're incorrect. And these are done instantly. You do not need to mail us anything or call the IRS, because these are all done right online. If you wanted to add additional accounts and locations, so for example, if you have wage withholding and now you want to add non-wage withholding, you need to report like 1099-R or something to us, you simply click on the add additional accounts and location, and this is where you will add your additional tax types or any other locations. Okay, so you can also close your accounts, reopen your accounts. You can even correspond with the IRS securely through the message system. You can view any letters, you can request status letter. And I don't want to go through each of every panel, but I do wanted to show you some other features that we do have here for you to make it so much easier. Earlier, I did mention about the 1099 miscellaneous and the non-employee compensation panel. As you can see, I click on the More tab, and you can see the panel is right here again. So let's say if you're registered for sales tax and you don't register for payroll withholding or non-wage or any withholding tax type, and you wanted to file a non-employee compensation, this will be available for you to click on the hyperlink and submit your forms. So you do not need to register for those two form types. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and return back over to my summary screen. As you can see on this example here, I have sales tax in my account. I have withholding, non-payroll, and withholding payroll. We'll start with the withholding payroll to show you the W-2s and 1099s. On the right side of my screen, I have the link that says View File Returns and View Period Details. If I click on this will bring me to my return screen, and then I will locate my December 2023 option here for W-2s and W-3 annual reconciliation. Select the File Now link. That will open up the W-2 page for me. And we asked first question, do you have W-2 forms to enter? I will say yes. As my colleague pointed out earlier in the presentation, there are two ways to submit your information returns to DRS. Through the key and send option, where you can sit there and key in as many W-2s or 1099s you have to enter. The good part is we do have auto save the W-2s and 1099s. So for example, if your computer shut down, you enter 10, it was like, oh, you know what, I lost all 10 right now. No, don't worry. It will auto save in the system for you, and it will, when you log back into the system, you will get a pop-up on the screen. It'll say, you started to file W-2s 1099. Would you like to continue with the process? And there's a yes or no. If you said no, it will wipe it out of the system. If you say yes, it will bring you back to continue with the W-2s or 1099 transaction. We also have a save draft feature where you can physically click on the save draft feature. So let's say you enter 20 W-2s today and you have 100 to do. You want to come every day and enter 10, you can simply click on save draft and then it says finish later. And then you can come back, and what happened, this save draft will save the W-2s and 1099s for 30 business days. Within that 30 business days, you can come back anytime and continue editing. After 30 business days, the system will wipe it out from the computer, all your data. So all the saved data, the saved draft data. Before we wipe it out, we will send you an email in your inbox to let you know that you have some filing still waiting for it to continue the filing. If not, just you don't have to do anything with it. It will just wipe it out from the system. All right, I will go ahead and click on continue editing. And now I'm back on my W-2. I says, yes, I have W-2 data to enter. I'll click key and send. And then I'm going to go ahead and click next. Now I'm brought to the screen where I simply click add a record, and I'll show you how to enter. I'm going to just do one of them, basically. So I'm going to enter the social security number. I'm going to enter my first, last name, address. Everything looks good. And I'm going to enter my Connecticut wages, and I'm going to enter my tax withheld. And I'm doing this intentionally because I wanted to show you what kind of error message will pop up on your screen at the time of filing. So for example, I just put my withheld is more than my wages. So these are the things that we check for when you're completing these fields. For example, it says the Connecticut state income tax withheld must be less or equal to Connecticut state wages. So I know that's a typo, so I'm just going to simply fix that. Now everything looks good. The error is gone. I click add, and I added one record. If you wanted to make a change to the record, there's a little pencil edit row here. You can do so, and this will pop up, and you can either delete the record, or you can just simply add or make any changes and click, excuse me, click OK. And you can sit there and continue adding W-2s or 1099s. There's no limit on that. I will not go through with, actually, let me go through so I can show you. Then we'll return back to the upload process. All right, so now I'm brought over to my CTW3. As you can see here, I have my return line items. I have my withheld wages, my Connecticut wages, and the number of W-2s. It says I enter 1. And now you'll have to provide a quarterly breakdown to DRS, and you'll simply enter that amount in here. It needs to be plus or minus $5 before it goes through. And I'm going to just say on quarter 1, I have my $4,500 in there to report. All the other quarters are 0. And it depends how you send in the payment. This is where you're going to put the quarterly breakout based on the CT-941 you filed to us. All right, everything looks good. I'm going to click next. And now I simply come to my signature page where I just enter my signature, and I click submit. And you will get a confirmation number, and on this page, and you will also receive a confirmation number in your email inbox to let you know that you successfully uploaded or you filed a CTW3 form with your W-2s. If you want a printable copy, we also provide a printable copy. It's a PDF format, and you can print this for your record. But if, let's say, if at the time you do not want to print it, or something happened and you missed the PDF copy at the end of the transaction, don't worry, I'll show you how to get back to the summary screen and print another copy. So remember, we talked about the submission panel. This is where you're going to click on search submission, and there should be W3 pending here because it didn't process yet. And then if you drill into it, the print icon, the hyperlink will be here, and it will open up the PDF again for you. So now I'm going to simply go ahead and return back over to my summary screen. And then I will locate my payroll withholding. I'm going to file I'm going to go back into the W2, W3 because I wanted to show you the other option for the bulk upload. I'll say yes, bulk file. And now I have two methods. I have the CSV file and the standardized file layout, which is the text file. So the standardized file layout, that text file is the same format as the Social Security Administration W2 format. You can use the same format and send it in to us. There are different record types in there. The state record, most of you probably already familiar with, is the RS record, and that's what we care about. So you can use the same file and upload using the standardized file layout. The CSV file, earlier I showed you how to get to the DRS page where we have all the different templates, and I believe we had a few questions as well from some of you regarding the CSV layout. So we do have those templates provided for you. All you need to do is just simply enter all your data, and then you will click the button to create the CSV file. So the CSV is for comma separated value. You will see that that's the extension that you need to save the file as before you can upload it. Once you do that, you can simply click next. And this is where you're going to bring to choose your file. So if I click choose my file, I should be able to choose my file and upload the file process. Upload my file. Once you upload the file, if your file is good, which is, perfect, you can just continue to the next screen. But if there's an error, we're going to break down the error and tell you which position to go in your file or which column to go in your file. And we will point out, so for example, if you have only 8 digits for the federal ID or the social security number, we will reject it up front and tell you, go to line 5, you have on your social security number or federal ID field, you have 8 digits and it needs to be 9 digits. So we kind of point out the error for you, we make it so much easy for you so you can go back, fix your record, and then upload your file again. All right, so I'm going to cancel out of here. And I'm going to return back to my summary screen, and we'll talk a little bit about the non-payroll withholding, and I'll show you the different form types that we do have. So again, I wanted to mention that for filing the 1099 miscellaneous and 1099 non-employee compensation, you do not need to register for withholding payroll. So in this example, I'm going to show you how to file a 1099-R. So I'll simply click on my View File Returns and Period Details. And this will bring me back again to the screen, as you see before. And now I'm going to locate the 2023, December 2023, and it's a 1099/CT1096 annual summary withholding ready to file. And if I click the file now, as you can see, all the different form types is now labeled on this page because I'm not doing W-2s, I'm doing the 1099s. It says, do you have 1099 forms to enter? I'll say yes. I'll say key and send, and then when I click next, I have to choose my form type now. I have the option of the 1099 miscellaneous, the 1099 non-employee compensation, the 1099-R, the W-2G, and the 1099-K. So I need to tell the system which one I need to file. So for example, I'm going to choose the 1099-R, click next, and it's the same process. It's going to bring me again. I do not want it to go through this because it's very simple. You just click add a record, add your record just like we went through with the W-2, and you will get a confirmation at the end. Or you can choose, you can go back, all the way back, and says I have a bulk upload and not key and send. And then again, you have the CSV format, which is our template on the DRS website you can use, or the standardized file layout. Now, for the 1099 standardized layout, it's not the Social Security Administration EFW2 format. This is for, it's similar to the Internal Revenue Services FIRE format. It's called the FIRE format. 1220 FIRE format. It's similar to what they use, so you can use the same file and you can upload that file using the standardized file layout to us. All right, we are going to return back to our summary screen. And now everything I showed you here, these are all like single employer. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about bulk filing, because I know many of you are doing bulk filing where you have a file of multiple companies and you're wondering, how do I do that to get into the system? So first, you need to set up yourself as a bulk filer. Once you set yourself as a bulk filer, and you can do that by on the MyConnect homepage, create a username. There's an option on there that says third-party bulk filer. You just simply create a username and password. Once you do that and you log in, you will get a link like on the right side here that says Accountant Center. And once this link shows up, you know that you registered to be a bulk filer and you're ready to submit multiple clients' informational returns to us. So now I'm going to simply click on Accountant Center, and it brings me here to a few panels. And the one that I'm looking for, it says bulk filing. View bulk filer menu. You're not only going to get access to W-2s and 1099 information, but you will get access to payroll withholding, non-payroll withholding payments. You can bulk file. You can even bulk file sales and use tax every month for your client. You can 1120 extension estimates, 1041 trust and estate extension estimates, 1065 extension estimates, unrelated business extension and estimates. So there's a lot of things that you can do in here. You can even submit the 1098, the tax exempt interest data upload. You can use that as well, or the attorney occupational filing. But because of today's presentation of W-2s and 1099s, I'm going to just focus on that here. So when you come in here, you'll see it says single client W-2 upload. So this, once you use the bulk filer option here on this panel and you use single client upload, you only can upload a file that has only one company in there. Let's say if you have Randy and James and Scott, like different companies in there, more than one companies, you will use the multi-client W-2 upload. And there are two steps to that. Once you click on this and you follow the process and you upload your file, you will have, at the end of the transaction, we will prompt you or direct you to do step 2, which you will go, you will select the CTW3 upload. So once you upload the W-2s as a multi-client upload, you have to complete another step, which is the CTW3 upload. And again, we do have layouts out there for you to assist you in the filing. All you need to, like, for example, you don't have to go looking for on our DRS website. If you're on this page, you will see this link right here. It says click here to see file specifications for the W-3, and this will take you back to that landing page we have on the DRS site with all the different templates. I'm going to cancel out of here, and I'm going to go back. And you will do the same thing for if you wanted to file 1099s. It depends, you know, all the different form types and MIS, the NEC, the Rs, HEY, W2G. You will do the same process if you have multiple clients in there, or you will go ahead and choose which form type, and then you will upload step 1, and then you come to step 2. All right, so I'm going to return back to my summary screen here. So today we talk about how filing the 1099 NEC, which is a non-employee compensation, or the 1099 miscellaneous. You do not need to register with DRS to do that. You can simply click on the link on the MyConnect homepage and follow the prompts and complete your filing by either do an upload file, or you can manually key in the data. We also talk about if you need to submit W-2s, how to get in here, and over here, click on the view file returns, view period details, and select the option that, you know, best fit for your upload or your key and send. All right. I think that's all I have for you today. And thank you for listening. And back to you, Mr. Carter.
All right, Randy, well done, sir. We'll talk to you in a couple of minutes. Quick programming change in the programming. So we got a programming note. We're going to bring Kelly on first. Kelly will do her presentation. That'll last 2 or 3 minutes. And then we'll bring Randy, Chris, and Catherine in because some of these questions overlap a little bit. So it doesn't make any sense to do Randy, Kelly, and then get into more questions. So let's do that. So Kelly is a state project manager on our organizational development unit, and she's going to provide a quick tour of our Taxpayer Education Center and some of its features. I was going to say afternoon. Good morning, Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Today I'm going to give you a brief tour of the DRS Taxpayer Education Center. The Taxpayer Education Center can be found halfway down the DRS homepage at portal.ct.gov/DRS. The Taxpayer Education Center was created through the lens of a Connecticut taxpayer. The TPEDC provides registration for any upcoming webinars and new business flyers. We have 2 video series, one for Connecticut residents filing and paying income tax, and the second series is for part year and non-residents filing and paying Connecticut income tax. Then we have videos that are specific to navigating our website. At the very bottom, you can find any previously recorded live webinar recordings. Videos will be added and updated often to reflect the most asked questions from taxpayers. The videos provide a quick and easy walkthrough of the topic presented. Thank you, and now back to Mr. Carter.
All righty. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you very much. Well done. All right, so let's get to the Q&A, but before we get to that, let me just make a general announcement here. We're getting a lot of questions that overlap with the IRS. So just so you know, this really is for Connecticut withholding and filing and paying requirements. So it's not really for IRS stuff. So we kind of got to walk a tight line on that. So if you do have questions specific to the IRS, you can certainly visit their website at irs.gov, or you can give them a call at 1-800-829-1040. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that phone number. So just to give you a little info on that. Okay, so let's bring Randy, Chris, and Catherine in here because I believe there's lots of questions in here and there's some overlap. So first up that we have is I am a Connecticut employer with national locations, but do services nationally at different locations. Do I only need to do I only do Connecticut 1099s, or do I have to go to each state?
I guess I'll take that one. You would only report to us the 1099s that relate to Connecticut, either Connecticut residents or income source to Connecticut.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Is the fire.irs.gov no longer where we do our online filings? If so, how do we resolve our issues to log on as the PW expires every 90 days? Sounds like IRS stuff. That probably not in our domain, but has anybody got any background on that? No. All right.
Well, if you go to https fire.irs.gov, there's a bulletin or a notice that is posted for a new requirement. Please read. They would like all of their clients or taxpayers that need to, or businesses that need to file, please read this statement. It's for filing information returns electronically. I think it's important to review that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Catherine.
You're
All
welcome.
right, next up. Can I withhold taxes for subcontractors who have requested me to do so? Good question.
Okay, so you would have to register for non-payroll account with DRS, and also if you're filing for the federal, you're a withholding agent for federal purposes, then you would have to do the same for Connecticut. But you'd have to register with us, the DRS, for the a non-payroll account and make those payments to us. Mhm.
All right, I don't know if this was part of it. This got broken up for me, so my apologies if so. But the next question I have is, like I said, I don't know if it's part of the previous question. I pay the subcontractors and I file their 1099s, but they have asked me to withhold taxes for them.
I
Where
think
do
it's
I
the same.
report those payments? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so what happens when the system shows several prepayments? Assuming that's My Connect, someone logging into My Connect.
Right, so what the system is telling you is that it's showing you the payments that have been made in advance for a return that you're filing. All I could think of is withholding, or perhaps because this is a business webinar on withholding, so it will show you the payments that have been made in advance on the account. And if you need to search or verify the payments by date and amount, then you can search submissions from the More tab. But it's showing you the total of prepayments that are already on file awaiting the filing of the return, if I'm understanding the question correctly.
All righty. Next up, I'm an employer with a small business. How do I file my estimated tax, or what form can I use for myself to file tax in Connecticut?
Randy, I don't know if you want to answer that, or if you have a MyConnect account, depending on the tax type, you will have a link in the account panel that allows you to make estimated payments.
Okay,
Is there
next
anything
up,
else you want to add to that, Randy? No? Sorry.
No, it's pretty much on the summary screen. You will, once you logged in, we'll have hyperlink there. It will say make an estimated payment.
Right.
We have that for the individual income tax, the 1040, the corporation tax, the pass-through entity, unrelated business. Those are all the estimated tax types that you can make estimated payments to us. For the 1040 individual income tax, you do not need to log in to submit estimates. That's on our one of our panel on the MyConnect homepage.
all right, good follow-up. How do we file a 1099 INT without My Connect? I'm assuming without a My Connect account.
Randy, we don't have filings for 1099 INT, correct?
No, so we do have. Is that the same thing for the 1099? The 1098?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, because we do have an option as a bulk filer where you can upload your 1099, 1098. I believe it's the same interest file. Earlier in my presentation, we do have a panel where you can upload that, upload your file for the 10. It's called 1099. It's called 1098B, I believe. I'm not sure if it's the same form type they're asking.
Okay, next up, in which cases do 1099 and 1096 need to be filed with Connecticut if they are already filed federal?
Randy, no?
You go ahead.
Oh, so if they're filed federally, they still have to be filed with Connecticut. We still require them to be filed through MyConnect in Connecticut.
Okay. My C Corp has 3 W-2s. Can I send you copies of the employer's copy or any employee's copy by mail? Anything else? And as a follow-up, anything else to be included?
Well, if you're sending in the 1090, the W-2s, if you have 24 or fewer, you can mail them. Yes, we allow the paper filings, but you're also going to attach a CTW-3 to it as well.
Okay, does the CSSF program include W-2s and W-3s?
So that must be the combined filing? No, so they don't allow the combined filing for W-2s.
All right. Will MyConnect save your 1099 payees for next year so you can just update the numbers?
No, you will have to upload the new data all over again.
Okay. What happens if a vendor with a social security number, I'm sorry, let me do that again. What happens if I have a vendor with a social security number beginning with a 9?
I think that's a question they're gonna have to pose to the IRS, not to us.
Looks like they're trying to confirm something here. To confirm, submitting a 1099 W-2 in MyConnect will also file federal simultaneously?
No,
Can we key in the OS 114 instead of bulk upload?
yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Sorry, Randy.
that's okay.
All right. What constitutes a bulk filer?
It's a good question. Anyone who files more than one or two, you can create your account so that rather than having to create a username and password for each individual client, you create your bulk filer, and you may start that with one or two clients in anticipation of adding more clients to your business. Or you can choose to file them individually, create a username or password, whatever's more convenient for you. But there is no requirement or what constitutes a bulk filer. You may create a bulk filer account and have your username and password for that bulk filer and only have one client at the moment, but you're going to add clients. Hopefully your business will be very successful and you'll have many clients to follow.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. All right. Couple
You're
more
welcome.
questions here, and then we'll start wrapping things up. How does the IRS get this 1099 info?
So the question is probably posed for the combined filing. If they submit their 1099s to the IRS, Internal Revenue Services, there's coding in there on each record that will tell them that they're filing the combined filing, and that's where the state will receive their part of the 1099s. I believe that's the question.
Okay. Next up, can we use the same CSV file we submit on the IRS portal for the standardized file layout option on MyConnect when submitting the CT 1099s?
No, the CSV is comma separated value. That's the Excel sheet where you will save it as the extension of CSV, and the text file is something different for the standardized file layout. So there's two different formats of the file. If you try to use the standardized file with a CSV layout, your file will reject up front to tell you it's not in the correct format.
Okay. I'm assuming this is all part of the same thing. We already have an active DRS account. However, I do not see where the process is for the 1099 NEC. We only have 15 1099 NECs. Can I just continue to mail as we used to do to the IRS address? Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
Sorry, Rick. I was going to share. I think one of the questions asked if we could share real quick to show them the NEC again, because I think that we went a little bit too fast. So I will steal your screen there for a second, and I will go right back into here. And like I stated earlier, to file the NEC is very simple. You do not need to create a username or password. You do not need to register with DRS. Just come to the MyConnect homepage, locate the panel on here that says File 1099s, File 1099 NEC. Simply click on it, and this will prompt you to the same screens we showed earlier a few times where you can key them in. So your 15 1099 NEC, you say key and send, says this is not an amended return, click next, and then it's going to show you the form here, and then you fill out this demographic information, and on the next screen, you will have the option of adding your 1099 NEC in there.
All right, excellent. Well done, Randy. That's a kick save and the beauty on the glove side there. Okay, so we got time for one more question, and then I'll wrap things up here. It says, if we file a 1099 through a service like QuickBooks, do I need to also submit separately to Connecticut?
So filing the 1099s and the W-2 through QuickBooks, we don't have a way to receive those data. You will have to manually generate it, either a CSV or a text file from QuickBooks, and manually take that file and come to the MyConnect website and upload those files.
All right, fantastic. All right, thank you, Randy. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Chris. You guys get some well-deserved water, and I'll close this out here. So I certainly want to thank everyone for joining, and I just want to give you some reminders that if you have any questions in the future, our business hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. through 4:30 p.m. And we can be contacted by telephone at 860-297-5962 or at 1-800-382-9463. You can always send us an email. Our email address is drs@ct.gov. You can also send us a message via My Connect, and don't forget to check our website for updates regarding informational publications and future webinars. And like has been mentioned here, this one should post in the next 7 to 10 days. And our web address is portal.ct.gov/DRS. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending and certainly for all the questions. That was fantastic, and that's why we're here. We try to have a few of these every couple of months, so certainly check back if you just need a refresher. I'd also like to thank Suzanne and Kelly for all the work they do behind the scenes on this production. So we'll see you next time, and good luck out there in your endeavors.